Hello and welcome to Gas It Out. We have got a special episode for you here, an interview with one of the most influential team managers in MotoGP, Davide Brivio, actually probably one of the most respected leaders in modern motorsport. He guided Valentino Rossi's golden years at Yamaha. He was the man masterminding Suzuki's fairy tale MotoGP success for Joan Mir in 2020, thanks to their test rider. He's built a reputation for being calm, for being friendly and open, but also taking on the bigger rivals, perhaps, throughout his career. He had a spell in Formula One with Alpine, where he worked with Fernando Alonso, but returned a couple of years ago to MotoGP and the Trackhouse Aprilia team. And yeah, he's a thoughtful leader in our sport. Neil and Sylvain, we all get on, don't we? We all enjoy spending time with Davide. What are you hoping to hear from him today?
Well, he's a straight shooter, isn't he? So, like I said, we're all good friends with him in anyway. So, he's not full of BS. He's pretty straight talking, and I know we've got a list of questions for him. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say.
And Sylvain, I know him from a media point. I've been working on this side, obviously, of the camera lens for years. But you've actually worked in a team. You were test rider, of course, for Suzuki that championship winning year and a couple of years around that. So you know him from the inside.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, 5 years from 2017 to the end of 22. So yeah, we spent quite a bit of time working together. He's a great, absolutely brilliant team manager, a great leader of men, and yeah, showed it during the Suzuki years and now doing it with the Trackhouse boys. So yeah, a fantastic man. Always super interesting to talk to as well. I mean, whenever we come across him in the paddock, there's always something there. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant to be able to talk to him.
Right, let's hear what Davide has to say to us. I'm pleased to say that Davide has joined us right here and now. Davide, that looks like a stunning view behind you. There, beautiful blue skies. Definitely not in the UK. That much. Where are you joining us from at the moment?
I'm on my way to Brazil, let's say.
What, in Rio? Yeah. In Rio de Janeiro or something? I'll tell you what, a beautiful blue sky like that.
Yeah, I live in Dubai, and with the current situation, I kind of anticipated the trip to Brazil, and here in California for a few days, and then moving to Brazil, this week, in a couple of days. So
that's quite interesting then. So that you're in Dubai, because obviously you're Italian, we know that, and a lot of time you've been based there. What does a normal working week look like for you then? I mean, because obviously the team are based in the US. Is there a workshop base in Europe at all, or anything like that? How does it work in between races?
Yeah, actually, as a track house, we don't have a proper workshop in Europe. We have a sort of a base in Noale, where Aprilia Racing is based, and we have a kind of, let's say, a workshop space there. But our headquarters is in North Carolina, in Charlotte, is where we have like the administration, human resources, let's say the management of the structure, and then the MotoGP is a more globetrotter going around circus, and in reality, even the team based in Europe, they don't really go to workshop. It's just an office work. So as far as concerned the office job between races, we work all remotely, all connected remotely, and it works. Yeah.
And how does that work then? I mean, from a team point of view, in terms of being in contact with Justin, who's obviously the boss there, or being in contact with your mechanics or personnel. Are you on Zoom calls all the time? Is this pretty standard for you to be sat here surrounded by people chatting online?
Yeah, of course. The timing is a little bit an issue. You have to, when they wake up in the morning, they have plenty of emails coming from Europe, and then they reply, and then we reply to them while they're sleeping. So it's a kind to have meetings is like 8-9 o'clock in the morning for the Charlotte people, and it's like late afternoon for us in Europe. But okay, we find a way. Yeah, we found a way.
And it must feel good at the moment, Davide, because you had a great weekend in the opening round of the championship. Raul with 2 podiums, I with 2 excellent results to start the season. There must be a bit of a buzz around the team at the moment with the US coming up in a couple of weeks' time. You know, with such a solid start to 2026 for you and the team.
Yeah, it's true. In Trackhouse also, everybody's quite excited about this start. And let's say the fact that we have an Aprilia now is coming something very important. I think Aprilia has made a big progress from the second half of the season last year. And this year, again, the upgrade for the 2026, especially the aerodynamic package, which has been talked, there's been talking about. And then a little, I would say, compare, first, I joined the team in 2024, and the 24 bike was a kind of a big change compared to the 23. And probably not always in the right direction on certain things. This year, Aprilia has done a job like going to strengthen the weak area. So it's just an evolution, but many small things, but in the right area, the right way. And yeah, overall, has been an improvement. Has been, which I think is continue what we were doing at the end of last season. No, the question mark was, will we be able to restart from where we finished? And I would say, yeah, it's just one race, just Thailand. But I would say, yeah, we're there and see what's happened.
Yeah, David, for sure, Thailand was really good for Trackhouse, but also for Aprilia. And like you described, it's clear that Aprilia has made a great job from the middle of last year and coming on to this year. But on your side as well, with the team, particularly with Raul Fernandez, also, things have got a lot better. And you as a team manager there, can you explain to us how you've worked with him to try and improve his performance and try and help him to show his talent, because I think we're all convinced that he's got a lot of talent, and the progress that he's made last year, obviously his first victory in Australia, the podium in Valencia, and starting the season like this again this year, we've seen a complete different rider, on track, but also like sort of out of the track. So can you explain to us like the work you've been doing with him and the work that is currently ongoing?
Yeah, it's true. When I joined the team, of course, everybody was talking about how talented Raul is, how strong he was, and whatever. But I found, my impression was a kind of a guy that was a little bit frustrated, and I started to think that probably that great season he had in Moto2 with 8 wins as a rookie, probably, somehow has been a problem going forward in a way that probably coming to MotoGP, it was with KTM, I wasn't there, but my feeling is probably he felt probably ready to go. And when you come from Moto2, winning 8 races as a rookie, you probably think, okay, I'm going to MotoGP, a little bit of time, and then I will be there. But then the first season was difficult, second season also. So I felt when I arrived, I found Raul a kind of a disappointed, very frustrated if he was like in 10th position, because he say I have to win. I say, okay, let's take step by step. You want to win. First, you have to stay in the top 10. Then maybe we try to go in the top 5. It's a pathway. It's a journey. So take it easy. And we start to talk, and also sometimes quite straight. And I say from the beginning to Raul, I say, yeah, if you want me to tell you what I think, you have to accept it. And we want to win. We want to be successful together. And if I criticize you or I have a bad comments, it's just because I want us to progress together. And he took at that. We started to have a good relationship in this sense, that we could be open, very open each other. And last year in 2025, there was a very difficult start for Raul. He got injury in Sepang, So he missed all the testing, come back in Thailand, not 100%. But then the results in the first races was quite difficult. We were struggling to get into the points. And at the same time, probably I, with a brilliant start, Ogura with brilliant start, Thailand, probably causing also even more frustration. Anyway, at a certain point, I remember quite a hard discussion in Jerez, Sunday night, where I say, Raul, hey, I mean, we cannot continue like this, no? It was a kind of quite a hard meeting, let's say. In that moment, he didn't took it well. Let's say for the next day, testing was a little bit of tension, and but then thinking about, I mean, when we talk about at the end of the year, he say, "Oh, thank you very much." That was very useful. But then later on, it's always like this at the beginning. And the problem of Raul is to get in confidence. When we were struggling to make point, I remember telling him, "Hey, let's go to Austin. We go to Austin. I want you to make 1 point. I want you to be 15. They say, well, what do you mean 15? 15. They say, yes, let's start from here. Scoring points. Let's start to make 1 point, and then we progress. This was a kind of maybe extreme way to talk. No, of course, I'm not there to make 1 point, but it's just to say, let's get started somewhere, somehow. And this is how he built up confidence. I remember in Le Mans was raining, but he finished P7. And then from that point, we have all races in top 10. And I gave a target. I say, let's try to stay in the top 10. And he was feeling like, oh, I reached the target. Oh, okay. I was in the top 10. 2 races, 3 races, 4 races. There is confidence coming up. And of course, the top of this journey was, first of all, the podium in the sprint race in Indonesia, and then the win in Australia. This gave him, let's say, some sort of, I think it removed many doubts that he had on himself, built up confidence. I think it was a journey in this sense, So build up confidence step by step. And this is where we are now. I think now he's more confident on what he can do. He knows that he can do. And of course, we also talk each other. We cannot, it's not that you can win every race or you can get in a podium every time, but the most important is to be there, to fight with the top group and take the opportunity when they come. And which was Thailand, for instance. There was an opportunity to get into the podium. We have to take it. So that's our, let's say, job at the moment. And that's what we have done. Building up his confidence step by step, because the talent has never been in doubt. No, everybody knows that he is talented and he can do great things. But let's say he has to be relaxed, confident. This type of, very well. you both know very well what it means, And so that's I think the job we are doing together. But of course, it's Raul that he improves step by step. We just try to give a support what we can do.
Yeah, well, Davide, I must say you've done a fantastic job with Raul, and from the outside, it is impressive. And it's always nice when you see a younger rider who's lost a bit of confidence and then they get the confidence back. So like I say, congratulations with that.
Yeah, also, exactly. I think it's a matter also of trust, because at the beginning of the season, there was many criticism around Raul, where he could not, of course, Ogura was better, Raul was in trouble, but then, we always show trust on him. We always say, okay, don't worry, let's go step by step. Probably this helped, I think, yes.
Yeah. This year, David, it's a huge year with regards to contracts. Looking forward to 27, 28, obviously the rule changes. Most of the riders are out of contract. Early this year, it was announced that, Marquez is going to stay at Ducati, Pedro's going there. Some big changes. And we all assumed before round one that we were going to see these contracts announced and these deals sorted out. But there has been a delay, and it seems completely across the board. Obviously, what's going on a little bit behind the scenes. Do you think this is down to the Concord agreement that MotoGP is trying to negotiate at the moment. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of this situation, this pending situation on renewal the agreement. I mean, if you think in some sense, you cannot announce the rider while you don't have a contract yet to participate to the championship. So I think it's then I don't know. This is a discussion mainly between the manufacturer, the MSMA level, but I think that's one. I mean, the idea is maybe to sort out first the agreement to participate at the championship, and then maybe make those announcements. Yeah, of course, some of the deals are done. We all know more or less, but it is true that until you don't get the official announcement, I mean, you never know. It's nice to have that 5% of suspense, of doubt.
And Davide, can I ask you the position you're in? Obviously, as the team manager for the Trackhouse Racing,
Yeah,
you've got a great relationship, obviously, with the factory Aprilia team. How does it work with choosing a rider for your team? Is that decision? Do Aprilia have a big say in that?
I would say, I mean, not a big say, but I say, I mean, we talk each other. I have a very good relationship with Massimo, so we talk a lot about this. But he tells me what he's thinking also for his team, what he's doing, what he was doing in the winter, and then we exchange opinion, ideas, and whatever. So, but at the end of the day, it's, let's say, our decision. But of course, I know that also Aprilia support maybe those decisions. I mean, it's not something that we're not going to do something they are against. Also because we pretty much on the same page. No, we all want to win. We always trying to find the best rider. So it's not difficult to be agree. Let's say on this sense. Last year maybe we had some sort not discussion, but of course there was a doubt about Ayogura. Why pick up Ayogura? Are you really sure? Things like that. But it's like an open discussion, which is also useful for us. I mean, I want to have also different opinion and different listen other people.
It's a delicate time, isn't it, for MotoGP, for the teams, for managers like yourself, for teams like Trackhouse, because in theory there aren't going to be independent and factory teams anymore. There's supposed to be 11 teams, and there's these sort of deals going on. You obviously had your time in Formula One. You're very well aware of Liberty Media, very, very well aware of what their intention is to do. Obviously, the team you're involved in have experience in NASCAR, got massive experience in the US and how the system works. I just wonder, from the position you're in, with all these different experiences and people around, what does the future look like? What are the challenges now for a team like Trackhouse, or even what are the challenges for MotoGP to accept the investment like we're getting from Justin Marks, or that we're getting from Gunter Steiner, or people like that, but also that MotoGP keeps its authenticity, MotoGP stays real, because that's what people love about motorcycle racing.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's a longer.
It's a big. It's a big scenario. Let's just summarize the whole MotoGP word in 2 minutes. But I'm just saying, in your position as a team manager at this moment in time, it's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? To try and work your way through to get the best for your team, to get the best for your riders, the best for your manufacturer, all these things.
No, I think it's a very exciting moment in some sense, for us in, let's say, in this management position. Of course, the rider, they continue their job. The engineer, they continue their job, try to be set up the bike, be fast, win the races, and whatever. From the management point of view, it's quite an exciting timing. Because I think we always talk about Liberty Media is coming, but Liberty Media is just, I think, giving a boost on how the sport is developing in general. I mean, all the sports is going into more to be an entertainment, but this is not negative. I mean, I want to take a positive. Not I want to take. I think it's positive in a way. The sports side it remained there. I mean, it's still authentic because even if you look at the other big sport, I mean, the NBA, I mean, they really play basketball. So if you like basketball, you can enjoy, looking at how they score points, the action they do, and everything. So. And other, like, of course, Formula One. I don't want to talk about Formula One now because it's a little bit kind of a challenge because of the new regulation. But let's say the Formula One, the NBA, the NFL, the NASCAR, they are all real in terms of the sport. But then now we building up something, I would say an add-on, which is more entertainment, involving more audience, expanding more as a territories or whatever, which is, I think, is not influencing the sport. I mean, if we are passionate about motorcycle racing, we still enjoy. I mean, it's authentic, I think. But also there is a commercial side that is developing. We need, I mean, the sport we love, it has to be sustainable. Otherwise, nobody will go to race in Australia, in Indonesia, in Spain. It's expensive. Okay, so we need to make it sustainable, and this all this activity from commercial promotional point of view that probably Liberty Media will boost even more because also let's say what it was Dorna until a few weeks ago, now MotoGP Sport Entertainment Group. They have done a lot of good job until now, and now Liberty Media, I think, can give a boost, probably 100 more horsepower or whatever, so to this job. And but it's all positive, and it's very exciting to be a part of this transformation, I think. And then concerning to the teams, yes, this is something that is in development. MotoGP, on this sense, is something unusual because in all, I would say probably all motorsport category class, the team are all the same. I mean, Formula One, you got 11 teams. Whether, one is Ferrari, the other is Haas, or whatever, but you're not talking about factory, independent. They're all at the same level. Of course, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari has a bigger budget than Haas, Alpine, or the other team. But at the end, it's like in the NBA, you can be Los Angeles Lakers or you can be another team with less budget. That's is normal. But there are 30 teams all at the same level. Let's say there are the strongest and the weakest, but on the paper, when they start the championship, they all have the same chance. In a MotoGP, it's a little bit different because factory team, we got 5 factory team and 6 independent team at the moment. We try to say, no, from now on, we will be 11 teams all together. But still, it's, it takes time to get into this, to reach this target, I think. But it's only MotoGP, because if you look like, I don't know, Formula One, Formula E, Rally, whatever, NASCAR, they are all teams, same, no, at the same way. Of course, somebody has more budget than others, but in a MotoGP, we're trying to do the first step now. Okay, we eliminated the independent team classification, but this is just a first symbolic move. Probably we have to go more deep on this. And I say something maybe. You might say, I don't know how I would say in English, provocate a little bit, but the unusual thing is that the manufacturer has a team. So the manufacturer should not have a team in the future. Yeah. So Ducati, Aprilia, Yamaha, Honda, KTM, they should beat the bike and lease it to 11 teams, potentially. Or at the same way, at the same level.
Is that going to happen, though, do you think, Davide?
No. It's just my idea.
No, exactly.
So but I never heard about that. It's just my thinking.
What are the chances of that happening, would you say?
It's difficult because I think the factory, they don't want to. I don't think the factory, they want to. They are already organized. They already got the team in place. probably they like to continue like this. But somehow, also we're talking about in the future, maybe there is one possibility, which is the budget cap. No, I mean, if in the future we're going to introduce a budget cap also in MotoGP, then the team operation has to be clearly splitted and separate from the factory operation. Of course, you can have maybe some tricky situation somehow, but let's say in general, in principle, you need to have one company that manages the team and one company that builds the bike and does all the factory activities, designing, development, and purchasing the parts and everything. So, but this is a long way, but it's already important that we kind of started to talk about, and there is the intention. I mean, for sure, the MotoGP sport wants to go on that way, and probably if Liberty Media comes, probably they will find that as the normal way somehow. They need 11 teams altogether, and then. But let's see. But it takes time. I think it's an evolution. But if we really want to be 11 team, that is the way that should be.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because at the moment, as it stands, for example, I mean, even for the manufacturers are absorbing all the cost of developing the bikes, running their teams, paying their factory riders, and sometimes as well, most of the time, paying the riders that are in the private teams on the same bikes as well. So for the manufacturers, there's also an incentive there, isn't it? Because the private teams, they are getting money to lease the bikes from the manufacturers.
Now,
the manufacturers are absorbing all the costs, aren't they?
Yeah. And now, but going into, if we are going to have 11 teams, probably we have to have 11 equal conditions also between the teams. So it's an evolution that is going on now, let's say. And I think also this contract renewal is coming in a challenging period because we are in a kind of a transition moment between the old MotoGP and Liberty Media coming in, but at the same time we are facing the renewal of the agreement for the next 5 years, which is fine. Okay, that's how it is, but maybe in 2-3 years' time, the MotoGP could be different than what it is now. Hopefully, I mean, could be better. But now we are renewing for the next 5 years, and then we will see. So maybe we will discuss to the next renewal if the situation will be changed. Even if I believe that, I mean, if Liberty Media, of course, they already bought it, they already own MotoGP, but we didn't see them yet. Probably behind the scene, they working a lot, but we didn't see them yet actively involved. We are still working with the MotoGP management that has been in place for many, many years. But I don't think also this is something very quick to evolve the MotoGP and to transform the MotoGP. It will probably take a few years. Also in Formula One, they took, I think, 5 years before to start to see something. And now, I mean, if you think it's 10 years that Liberty Media has acquired the Formula One, and now it's in a great shape, but it took few years. You know, there's been a lot of talk. Drive to Survive arrived when? Is the 8th season now. So then 8 years ago, they started Drive to Survive. They saw the effect probably after year 2 or year 3. So I don't expect Liberty Media changing MotoGP or improving the MotoGP like this. It will be a few years plan, I think.
Davide, I've got a question for you. Obviously, I'm always really interested from a rider's standpoint.
Yeah.
You've been working as a team manager what feels like forever, but like for 30 years. You've worked with some of the...
Unfortunately, it feels forever.
Sorry. But I mean, you've worked you have worked with the absolute greats, obviously Valentino Rossi, for long periods of your career and his, obviously. Obviously, Jorge Lorenzo, and I can name many others. What have you seen over all these years? What makes a difference? Because like I said, you've worked with great riders, but we're now talking about the greatest, that last 0.1%. What is that? Can you teach it? can you buy it? Just tell us what you've seen and learned, and I'm just really intrigued to know what makes a difference.
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, most of the rider, even now in MotoGP, they have a great talent, no, and but the talent is probably the starting point. Of course, if you don't have a talent, okay, it's difficult even to start. But then the talent is not enough. What I've seen is like hard work, motivation, never give up, this type of thing. So this great, I mean, Valentino Rossi, or this greatest rider, will never let a win going away because okay, I can finish second or I can finish third. I remember with Valentino some Sunday night after being finished second, it was like nobody talking at the dinner, you know. It's like a disaster. We got beaten. No, how is it possible? You know, this type of thing. It was second position, and now sometimes I laugh when we make the picture for the P3, you know, in the pit lane, you know. So that is the difference, you know. And so the hard work, the motivation, I mean, but it's the same in every sport. You know? I mean, if you look at the football, the greatest, they are hard worker. I mean, you think Cristiano Ronaldo, other thing, or LeBron James in the NBA, how much does he work? Kobe Bryant. I remember a documentary say, wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours training, then breakfast, 2 hours. I mean, it's not for free. You know what I mean? It's not like, and probably the difference is this: the level of work and motivation. Like one guy like Mark Marquez, I mean, you can feel he will do everything to win. You know, even beating his brother if he needs. You know, oh. So these type of things, I think, make the difference, and probably they are talented, big motivation since young, and also self-confidence since the beginning. You know, the self-confidence, as we say before, the self-confidence is important, but they have self-confidence from the early ages because they've been successful from the beginning, probably. You know, but also then there is a time where you can have a bad season, and this is how you react. I remember with Valentino when Nicky Hayden won the championship in 2006. That was the first time Valentino lost a championship in his career. Because the year he didn't win a championship before was because he was a rookie. Was a rookie in 125, didn't win, but then won. Was a rookie in 250 and won the year after. Was a rookie in 500 and won the year after, and then won. Then for the first time, lose the championship. That was, I mean, it was a hard winter for him. But then you have to go through also those things. Then I'm sure that this helped him going forward, because then also he had, let's say, by the end, also a little bit more difficult time with Ducati, whatever. But so you have to then overcome to these moments, no, when the things are not going well.
Yeah, that's Davide. That's why me and Silvan are such strong characters. We've had to overcome a lot of defeat.
Yeah, I know.
We are still here, smiling, working, trying to make it happen.
I've got to ask though, Davide, because you know, managing egos like that, you're the manager. The point is then that you've got Hoyle Engine, you've got Fernando Alonso, you work with in Formula One. You have these huge personalities, superstars. I mean, that was a lot of Valentino was not in the social media age. That's another conversation completely. If social media had been around, I don't know how different it might have been, all those sorts of stories, or how big a star he might have been. But how do you, as the manager, as the person who these riders have to listen to, or how do you deal with those egos? How do you get to a point where they're listening to you, where they trust you, where they have confidence in you to be able to go out there and then perform?
But I think it's not so much you can tell them or teach them. I mean, they are great already. So I think what they need, or what I always try to do, is to give a support, especially when the things are difficult or when the things they're not going well. Maybe you give a trust, you give a support, you listen, And so, I mean, you really work together, but it's not like, I think with this greatest, it's not like one is the boss and one is the rider. I mean, at least in the MotoGP, maybe in Formula One is different, but it's like you work. That's the way I feel. No, you work together. Everybody has his own job. I have, in a position of manager, you have to try to build the best possible organization to see where the problem are. Maybe there's some improvement you can do in organization, something we are missing, what we can do better. Let's do one more test because this can help at the time. You remember, when the test was free, but we were trying to be maybe smarter than other. Try to find some way to take some advantage or whatever. And so you give support and you try to give everything they need to perform then on the track. And then what I was always used to say, I mean, when the light, the red light goes off, then they are by themselves. Hey, bye. You can only watch the TV, And but until that moment, I think as a team you have to give everything they need. Everything is possible, and so it's for me it's a working together more than being like the boss or these type of things. Especially with these greatest. But then, as I say before, maybe then. With Raul, it was a kind of a rider that he need also more support, but also maybe to give some advice to say, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't worry? This is okay. Give maybe realistic targets. Or this type of guys, they already know their target. They already know what they can do, and So we have two riders here. They know. What I mean. So you have to give a support maybe in a difficult moment. I don't know. It's somehow it's a bit of a problem when things they don't go well, but it's also quite a nice challenge from professional point of view. I was thinking a lot about like Bagnaia last year. What do you do? What would I do in that position? How can you support? How can you? It's not easy. It's challenging. Or when Marquez was in Honda. I mean, a smart Marquez, but finished 10th, 12th, 8th. Hey, what do you do? How you keep going that situation? How you support him? How you keep him up? That is what I think is the job. More than you don't need to tell something to Marquez. I mean, he knows the double. Then he knows more than any team manager. I think what he has to do. No, I mean that's the reality. That's my feeling. You need to give a support, to give a trust, to see what he needs, how you can improve his bike, how you can better setting, create the best team crew around, and whatever. So that's my idea.
So Davide, you've had all these experiences, obviously, with the greatest, with these guys that have got the experience, and like you said, you could. There's not much you can teach them. You can you can support them. You can't teach them a lot. What I wanted to ask you is when you look at the next champions or the next riders that you potentially want to bring up into the team, like you have done in the past with guys like Joan Mir, for example, at Suzuki. What do you look in the young talents? What is in your opinion? What is we're talking about talent, obviously, but we're talking as well about attitude and about work ethics and about. So you how do you proceed with those young lads? Do you meet them and have a chat with them to see how they react to what you're going to tell them, or do you judge it by talent, or what is the criteria?
Well, there's no rule. I think there's not one. I mean, you look at the first thing probably you look is, I mean, the speed. If you think is somebody fast, and then of course, then the approach, the attitude is important. But like in the past, sometime I didn't even have a chance sometime to talk to the rider properly, in a way that maybe the negotiation was so quick that you talk to the manager and then you talk to the rider at the end, but when more or less things are decided. But there's no rule. Just I also move a lot by instinct, to be honest. I don't know, but I don't know. You see something, you feel something, and of course the speed. It has to be somebody. In case of the last thing. In case of I was also helped. I have to be honest. I was also helped by Matteo Baiocco. I have to give him a credit. He's our rider coach. He goes around,
Yeah.
and he started to say, I think he has something. His riding style is good. Okay, then I can trust his judgment. And then you start to look. You start to look at the result, at the races. I was seeing like sometime qualifying, I don't know, 10th, 8th, 12th, and then step by step going to the front, or maybe sometime being in the front, then going back and then come back again. So I say, okay, that's a sign of resilience. Don't give up. And of course, speed, because if you can recover, you are fast. So you put all together, and then in my case, maybe you think for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. One day you say, "Oh yes, it's a good choice," and say, "Maybe not," and then one day you say, "Okay, let's go for that." So that's more or less how it happens. In case of Joan Mir, he was he was coming from 11 wins in Moto3, and we took him after only 1 year of Moto2. And
Yeah.
I remember meeting him was, I think, around Jerez time. And then I say, okay, would you come to MotoGP straight away? He say, yes. And I say, what about, we were Suzuki. I say, yeah, but you are Honda. He had an option with Honda. I say, well, why would you like Suzuki? I say, yeah, I think Suzuki is a good bike for me. It's the right bike for me. I say, do you want to come to Suzuki? Yeah, if it's possible, I will come. Okay, let's talk. So also the motivation, because that you need also somebody committed, What I didn't like is where maybe there's no other seats. Okay, let's go to this team. That is what you like to avoid. And so I remember with Maverick Viñales, he was Moto3 World Champion. Then the first race in Doha, I remember watching the race from home and also watching lap times. He was a rookie, his first race. In the last 6-7 laps, he was the fastest on the track. And I say, wow, okay. And the second race in Austin, he won a race. I say, okay, he's the man. So that's how I choose. So not so much. There's not so much study or thinking, but I say, okay, yes, this is special. Let's go for it.
I heard that Joan Mir chose Suzuki because of the test rider. I heard that's what I got. I've been told this by a couple of people who said that.
No, actually, I can tell you that the test rider at the time, he was very, very helpful. I always say that. Yes. No, it's true. No, not because he's here, but no. He did a great job with us. Really, really. For me, Sylvain, I talk quite often about when we talk about test rider, and your name always come up. Like, okay, because if you want to talk a minute about this, but Sylvain comments was always very, very similar to the factory riders' comments at the end. Maybe it was not that fast, but the comments were okay. No, but it's important. It's something important, because there is one way of thinking into the paddock, that the good test rider has to be fast. Okay, it has to be fast, but you have a factory rider to win the race, let's say. The test rider has to be fast enough to understand what is good and what is not good on a bike. It's not a matter of being a second slower or half a second slower or same lap time. It's a matter of how much understanding in what he was testing, and Sylvain was very good on that. I have to say, yes, he helped a lot. Suzuki. Yes.
Thank you very much, David. That's very much appreciated. And I must say, I really enjoyed doing it, and I was very sad when he stopped. We were all very sad, weren't we? But it was a great time.
On our group message chat, I don't know if you know, Sylvain, by accident, the bank transfer that you just made to Davide actually popped up in the WhatsApp chat. So your secrets have gone by the wayside already. I have to say, hey,
It's true. I use a lot Sylvain as an example of a test rider. Yes, yes, it's true.
Hey, and I've got to ask though now, Davide, just finally, as we can't have you for too much longer. I know you've got things to do. We've got to be heading to Brazil, all of us, as well this week. But what chance now then of Trackhouse and Aprilia as well? I'll talk more globally about Aprilia continuing this really solid start to the season that we saw in Thailand. How likely is it that this can carry on through, because we know that this different tyre is in Brazil. We know that the Circuit of the Americas is a strange track, and Aprilia's, often have had these successes at times on those kind of places. So what do we think? Is this going to go on for a while, do we think?
I think so. I mean, in a way, Brazil is a new circuit, so we don't know. We might have good circuit. Circuit where we're strong, circuit where we're less strong. But I think in general, the trend, I think we can carry on this trend. I mean, Aprilia, I think, is becoming competitive. Of course, Ducati maybe remain the reference, but I think we can challenge them, let's say. I mean, we can try to make the life more harder, let's say, more difficult, And I think, yes, we can do. Marco Bezzecchi is in a great shape. Also, I mean, Martin coming back, first race in Thailand, I think he had a very solid race. Of course, Raul. And Ayogure was quite interesting because he had exactly the same results as a year ago in Thailand, fourth in the sprint and fifth in the race. 1 year ago, we were absolutely happy, whatever. We were very disappointed. I mean, I first, but we were not very disappointed, but there was like, can be better, But I think, yes, I mean, in general, the trend is this. I think Aprilia can challenge Ducati. Let's see how it is. I would expect more, of course, KTM as well with Pedro Costa. He had a great weekend in Thailand, and I would say that probably there will be more fight this year in between manufacturer.
Well, that sounds perfect for us. We've already said how having Pedro up there, having Aprilia having success, challenging Ducati, exactly, it's what we all want. As you say, ultimately, this is entertainment, and we want there to be battles, we want there to be challenges, and we want to be entertained, and we certainly have been. Davide, we really appreciate you taking your time out of the beautiful Californian sunshine to spend a few minutes with us. We really, honestly, we do appreciate your time. And we look forward to catching up in Brazil. When do you head down?
I will arrive Wednesday in Brazil. Yeah, Thursday morning we'll be at the track. Let's have a coffee.
We will see you there for a coffee, definitely, without a doubt. Okay. Thank you so much. Or maybe an ice cream after the race, perhaps, as well, like in Thailand.
Why not? Yes, I hope, because in Thailand I deserve to have the ice cream, so I hope I will deserve again, So, okay.
We hope so too. Davide, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Davide.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Ciao.
See you soon.
How good was he?
Oh, it wasn't he, Sylvain? It was so good to. And the thing is, we know how many breakfasts or coffees have we had sat with Davide in the paddock, and all those things that we talk about come out. He's a good guy, isn't he? He's been there and done that. He's been working. I look back, and he started off in Yamaha in Italy, World Superbike, came through there for Fabrizio Pirovano he worked with, and
with the Belgarda lot.
Belgarda,
in the early 90s, back in the day.
So he's a familiar face to all of us around the scene as well. But to have someone like that who has been there and done that at the top of our sport, it's I think that team can be. They look great, don't they, the team? You have to say. And we just... one thing we didn't get a chance to get into is sponsorship and money. But I do get this sort of buzz when I speak to him and the team that, with people like Trackhouse being interested in MotoGP, still, entertainment side is important. Still, the sport, though, can maintain its... Because you've got people like Davide involved, can maintain its authenticity, maintain its heritage.
Yeah, what I think what we all like about Davide is he's never changed, has he? That's one thing. And actually, when he came into the MotoGP paddock, having had a lot of success in World Superbikes, I feel like he went in almost feeling like he was an underdog and wanted to prove everybody wrong, and that he could run teams at the highest level, which obviously he's done. But he's never changed when he's done that. So the absolute great periods of his career, and there's been so many to mention, but obviously the Valentino years and Lorenzo and Suzuki. It's Davide Brivio. He's just like you said, you go and have a coffee in the hospitality with him. He's just a down-to-earth, passionate, intelligent bloke, isn't he, who knows it all. So, and you do get the vibe with him when we talk about Liberty Media that he knows so much more than any of us. He's worked in the Formula One paddock, and he knows exactly how they operate. And of course, everyone's always going to put a positive spin on it. No one at this stage is going to put a negative spin on it. But I believe in when if he's confident, I'm confident. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say, because he's got that first-hand experience of working closely with Liberty. So I think moving forward, that our sport, and that's the main thing, our sport is in its safe hands, and I think it's only going to get better. Like I keep saying, or we just keep doing the same thing, and we have factory bikes out there with no sponsors on, which is hard to even get your head around. You know that,
or we lose manufacturers like Suzuki.
Or we lose
like
them.
We've lost like Suzuki. You know, we've lost Kawasaki, for example, and there might be other people waiting in the wings. There may be, but it's only if the sport is healthy that they're going to keep appearing. Sylvain and yourself, you were both in the period of the championship where the entries were on the wane, and at the moment they've got a 22 full grid, and actually more do want to be on the grid. That's got to be a positive. And Sylvain, you've worked directly with Davide as well, both on the inside, in the team as well. But he is just as he comes across to us, isn't he? Now in a media setting, that's how he is when you're working with him as well.
Yeah, exactly like that. Just it's a mix of like professionalism but also with like a really good touch of understanding people inside the team and making them feel valued. So you get that as a rider. Well, I wasn't a factory rider for them, but I was a test rider. But you can tell that he's trying to, he's making the riders feel valued. He's making everybody feel valued. The tire guy feels valued. The guy that drives the trucks feels valued. And it gives, what that does is that it gives the whole team atmosphere a massive boost. And when you manage to create an atmosphere like that in a team, it just creates results. That's what it does, because everybody works harder. Everybody feels like they're part of something really important, and it's something that they can contribute to and make a difference. And everybody wants to go to the track to do well. And I remember some weekend at Suzuki's, we were, the results weren't like that great to start with. But there was always targets. There was always something to accomplish. There was always something positive to try and do. And if it wasn't, it'd be addressed, and you'd come back to the next one, trying to make it better. So again, you're always in sort of like a positive vibe, and that's what Davide manages to create. And you can tell actually that's what's happening at Trackhouse. The ball is rolling.
Yeah, the way he set the targets for Raul, say, you want to win a race. We all want to win a race, but let's not run before we can walk, that kind of thing. I remember, Neil, you saying that once about Colin Wright, for example, that you have certain people in your career, I'm not saying they're similar characters, but what I mean is you have certain people that click with you, that get the best out of you. And it sounds like Davide has this way of working with people, as Sylvain's just talking there, to get the best out of them. And that's what a good manager does ultimately, don't they?
It is, and it's obviously he was saying that he had to have a chat with him last year after the Ereth round, and there was a test the day after, wasn't there? That's when they have that sort of first official test of the season, and it sounds like there was a little bit of tension there. But
can you imagine the sort of like the?
You can imagine the chat.
It would have been.
Raul. We know Raul. He's feisty. It will have been fruity, that conversation, won't it?
It will have been. It will have been. But at the end of the day, you need a team manager to understand the riders. When I worked with Colin Wright, who was a team manager I worked with for 3 seasons, and he literally transformed my career. Up until riding for him, it was almost like I'd been allowed to get away with so much. And it was almost like I was given so much rope to hang myself, and I would almost never blame myself. And I'm laughing. It's like the book of excuses. There was always a reason, but it was never me. And I started working with him. Obviously, like I said, he was my team manager, and he held me so accountable. And we would analyse. We had so many meetings. Literally every day I was at the track, I was in a meeting, and I was always getting bollocked. But it was explained to me what I had done wrong, and I was having none of it. And this was just an ongoing thing that took a whole season. It was the season of the 99 season. I was back doing British Championships, me and Troy Bayliss. Not a bad teammate. But how interesting. It took a season for him to not batter it out of me, but verbally batter it out of me. And it was almost like I got an inner... I was like a disbelief anyway, it's quite hard to explain, but it took a full season for Colin Wright as a team manager to be able to get the most out of me. But he did. And then from that moment on, I looked at everything different. I owned it. I say in commentary a lot, if a rider's having a really bad weekend, you need to go back to your hotel room and have a good look at yourself, because that is the problem. And I know it's not as simple as that, just look at yourself in the mirror saying, I'm the problem. But you have to own your mistakes. You have to put the work in. And and that's why Davide Brivio is obviously an incredible manager. He's the sort like, he knows when to put his arm around his rider or when to kick him up the arse. So, and it's not always as obvious as you'd think. It's not always, you don't always need a kick up the arse, or you don't always need an arm around you. It's each situation's different.
But it's interesting, isn't it, where you talk about the great successes. There are the odd one who come through and natural talent takes you to the top. But all the people that he talked about there across sports are grafters, aren't they? They're all ones who have had to, they might have huge amounts of talent. Exactly. No, but some some athletes don't necessarily know that they have to keep grafting, do they? They don't know that they have to keep at it and work on themselves as well. And I think
it's so important. It's important because for a rider, and some riders never get the chance. It's actually a chance to to get criticized, as in criticizing. We know criticizing can sometimes sound like it's a bad thing to do, but criticizing, in a professional manner is helpful, and it works. I mean, I remember Francis Batta from Suzuki. At the time, Suzuki All-Star. Yeah, 2010. I rode for him, and I was still recovering from an injury. But anyway, during the year, he was like, I remember having a chat with him, and he was like, and he said something that I remember it so well. And he said to me, he said, look, he said, it is now. It's happening now, and you've done 250. You've had many years, and you've done all right, and you did some years in MotoGP, and not many riders get to do that, and it's great. But now you're in World Superbike, so if you don't do well now, if you don't do like everything you can to make it work, you that's it. It's finished. You will be out, and this will be it. And it was the first time where I actually thought, yeah, this actually could stop, and I didn't want it to stop. And so I started training more, being more serious, spending more time on data, being more professional. And that's probably that chat that led to winning the championship a few years later on down the line.
Every success story like yours, Sylvain, like Neil's, like Valentino Rossi, there are so many that we've seen fall by the wayside. We've all seen it. People who haven't realised, that haven't fulfilled their potential. And anyway, Davide Brivio probably wasn't part of
Caroline also, she helps me on an everyday basis to fulfil my potential as a husband.
Is she in the room?
she would give me some briefings, hard ones, like reality checks.
She got a cattle prod
and I don't like it at the time. I don't like it.
Are you reading out the Mother's Day card that you sent yesterday?
she's just trying to get the most out of you, Sylvan. That's all. And in the end, you find out she's right. She's right.
I am like an old French wine. Just keep getting better, but it's all down to her. So thanks, Caroline.
Well, we appreciate it too, Caroline. Right, that's all from us
I'm in trouble
this time. You will be in trouble. Hopefully, she doesn't make it this far through the podcast. Well, let's hope so. All right, for your sake, anyway. We want to have you back next time. Next time, Sylvan will be joining us like this. Right, we will speak to you very soon indeed. And if in doubt, gas it out.